Good day, grade 9. Our topic for today is all about zero and negative integral exponents. Our objective applies the laws of apply the laws involving positive integral exponents to zero and negative integral exponents. So, let's have first, we need to recall the laws of exponents. So, we need to let A and B any real number, and M and N be any positive number. So, the first one is the product rule. Kapag product rule, lagi nyong tatandaan kapag parehas ang base. For example, A. Ang base natin ay A raised to the M power times A raised to the N power is equal to, kopyahin lang po yung base and then i-add po natin ang exponent. Ulitin ko, kapag product rule at parehas ang base, i-add lang po ang exponent. Pangalawa, or the second one, that is what we call the quotient rule. Kapag sa quotient rule naman, if parehas ang base natin, for example, A raised to the M power divided by A raised to N power is equal to A. Copy the base and then subtract the exponent. So, M minus N. Yung pangatlo natin, yung tinatawag nating raising a power to a power rule. Kapag ganito naman, distributive ng exponent, multiplication. So, ang base natin dito ay A, imo-multiply natin yung exponent, M times N. So, multiplication. Pang-apat, raising a product to a power rule. Dito po, distributive. Ito, M, madidistribute kay A. So, magiging A raised to the M power, B raised to M. So, magiging A raised to M times B raised to the M power. That is what we call the product to a power rule. Letter E, raising quotient to a power rule. So, raising quotient to a power rule. Kapag ganito naman po, the distributive pa rin yung exponent, pero division na siya. So, magiging A raised to the M power divided by B raised to the M power. So, those are the different laws of exponent that you already tackled when you are still in grade 7, if I'm not mistaken. So, let's proceed now to zero exponents. Always remember, if we say the rule of zero is expressed by the formula A raised to 0, which is equal to 1. Or any number A, provided that A is not equal to 0, raised to 0 is equal to 1. So, yung rule po natin, always remember, any numbers that raised to 0 is always equal to 1. Example, number 1, A raised to 0 is equal to 1, or 4 raised to 0 is equal to 1. Number 2, quantity 159 raised to 0. So, that is equal to 1. Number 3, 6 x raised to 0. Kung mapapansin ninyo, yung x lang yung may raised to 0. So, ibig sabihin, si 6, copy, multiply it by x raised to 0, that is equal to 1. 6 times 1, then that is equal now to 6. Number 4, proceed po tayo. Number 4, 5 raised to 0, that is equal to 1. 10 raised to 0, that is equal to 1. 15 raised to 0, that is also equal to 1. And then simplify. Add 1 plus 1 plus 1, that is equal to 3. Negative exponent. Always remember, negative exponent, if A raised to negative n, that is equal to 1 divided by A raised to n. So, we need to get the reciprocal of this one, and the exponent should be positive, where a should not be equal to 0 and n is a counting number. Example number 1, 5 raised to negative 1. So, 5 raised to negative 1, sundan po natin yung negative exponent natin, the definition, that will become 1 all over 5 raised to the second power. In this case po, we need to multiply the base twice itself. So, therefore, ang magiging sagot natin is what? Very good. 1 all over 25. Number 2. What if ganito ang given, naka-fraction? Quantity 3/4 raised to negative 2. 1 divided by quantity 3/4 raised to 2. So, ibababa lang din natin para magiging positive po yung exponent. Is equal to 1 divided by, you need to multiply the base twice itself. So, 3 times 3, that is 9. 4 times 4, that is equal to 16. And then, by division of fraction, we need to get the reciprocal of the denominator and then proceed to multiplication. So, magiging 1 times, eto po, reciprocal daw po natin yung 9 all over 16. That will become 16 all over 9 is equal to 16 all over 9. Another example. Number 3. What if ganito po ang given natin? 3 or 5 raised to negative 3 divided by 5 raised to negative 4. Kung mapapansin ninyo, yung division po ito, base is the same. So, ibig sabihin, copy the base and then proceed tayo, which is subtraction, ang exponent. So, base is 5, negative 3 minus quantity, the exponent of the denominator, negative 4. Simplify po natin. Ito po ay magiging, kapag kinuha po natin ito, this will become negative times negative. Ayan po ay magiging positive. So, magiging 5, negative 3, positive 4. And that will become, ito po, simplify, unlike sign, subtract, attach the sign of the largest number. So, magiging 5 raised to 1. And what is 5 raised to 1? That is equal to 5. Next, number 4. A raised to negative 3. B raised to negative 2. B raised to negative 4. Is equal to, simplify natin. Ito kung mapapansin ninyo, B at saka B. Ibig sabihin po neto, kapag ganito, anong gagawin natin? I-add natin or add na ba natin agad-agad yung exponent? So, pwedeng mag-simplify muna tayo. Okay? So, ito ay magiging A, negative 3, 1 all over A raised to 3, times, ito po, magiging B, pag binaba natin, magiging 1 all over B raised to 2. Tapos, yung isa naman, B, magiging raised to 4. Pag inad po natin, so, ang final answer natin, that is 1 divided by A raised to the third power and B raised to the 6th power. The next, let's try to simplify the following and write your answers with positive exponents. So, I gave you here 5 items. Number 1, x raised to negative 15 times x raised to the 9th power. Kung mapapansin ninyo, dito part, parehas po sila ng base. Ayan. So, parehas po sila ng base. Ano ang gagawin natin? Pag parehas ang base, multiplication, add natin ang exponent. So, that will become x negative 15 plus 9. Final answer natin, we need to, ito po, magkaiba ang sign, subtract, attach the sign of the largest number. So, ang magiging sagot ay x raised to negative 6. Ang sabi sa instruction, make it a positive integral exponent. So, that will become, ito po ay negative. Punta po tayo sa quotient rule or yung sa negative exponent. Pag ito po ay para maging ito ay positive, magiging 1 divided by x raised to the 6th power. Next, number 2. Quantity x 5x cubed times quantity negative 2x squared. So, multiply muna natin yan. So, magiging negative 10. Tapos, ito po, x5 at saka x squared. Parehas ulit sila ng base. So, we need to add the exponent. So, that will become negative 10x raised to the 5th power. Number 3. 4h negative 2 times negative 2h negative 4. So, still, we need to multiply the two base, yung numerical coefficient, magiging negative 8. So, yung h negative 2, h negative 4, ang magiging ano natin yan, h negative 2, tapos plus quantity negative 4. O, magkaparehas ang sign. Pag magkaparehas ang sign, add attach the sign. So, that will become negative 8, h negative 6. O, negative 6 ulit ang exponent. Anong gagawin? Magiging negative 8 times 1 all over h raised to the 6th power. And then, final answer, that is negative 8 all over h raised to 6. Number 4. 3 squared x, y, negative 5 divided by 6 raised to the 2nd power, c raised 0, y raised to negative 3. So, this will become 3 times 3. You need to multiply this one itself twice. So, 3 times 3, that is equal to 9. X, yan. Tapos y. Etong y, parehas po sila dun sa ilalim. So, ito po iaakyat po natin. So, magiging negative 5 minus negative. Kasi subtraction kapag division of exponent, di ba? Subtraction ang gagawin natin. So, ito magiging plus natin yan mamaya. So, sa baba naman, 6 times 6, 36. Yung c raised to 0, that is already equal to 1. Then, si-simplify po natin. Magiging 9x raised to, ito po yung magiging plus. So, negative 5 plus 3, that is equal to negative 2. Divided by 36 times 1, that is 36. Ito, mapapansin ninyo, negative 2. Ito, 9 at saka 6, they are divisible to each other. So, 9 divided by 36, that is divisible by 9 ang 36. So, magiging ang final answer natin, 9x divided by 36y squared. Ito po ay binaba ko po papunta dito para maging positive ang kanyang exponent. Or pag sinimplify natin ito, cancel at saka ito ay cancel. So, ika-cancel natin ito, ika-cancel natin yung 9, divisible kasi sila. So, magiging 1 all over 1 times x divided by 4y squared. So, ito na po ang magiging final answer natin. Okay, that's number 4. And number 5. 15 n square. In raised to negative 4. P raised to 5th divided by negative 3. N 6. P negative 7. So, ito po pwedeng i-divide. 15 divided by negative 3. Yan. Tapos si n, parehas ulit sila ng base. Ano po ang gagawin sa kanilang exponent? Subtract. And then same lang din, si p, parehas po sila ng base. Anong gagawin sa kanilang exponent? Subtract. So pagiging, ito 15 divided by 3, negative 5. N, negative 4. Tapos, positive 6 akyat sa taas, maging negative 6. Si p raised to 5, iakyat si negative 7, magiging negative 7. So, ito po ay magsisimplify po tayo. So, yan po ay magiging positive. Ito po ay like sign, so add, attach the sign. Ito naman, unlike sign, subtract, attach the sign of the largest number. So, magiging sagot po natin ay negative 5 n raised to negative 10, p raised to 12. Or, kapag kinuha natin ang final answer, magiging 5, negative 5, p raised to 12, divided by n raised to positive 10. Kasi pa-positive daw natin. Tama? So, do you still have question? Thank you so much for listening.